welcome to today's video. Today I am sharing our April update. March is finished. We are a week into April, and so I wanted to share with you guys what we've completed and what we're going to be working on before we end our homeschool year. So I think most of you that watch these types of videos have probably been around. I like these types of videos because I think it kind of gives you guys a glimpse in like real life and updates of what we've completed and what we're working on. So let's talk about March and April. Have started to dwindle down in like our core curriculums. Both IEW and Beowulf grammar were things we started in our third quarter, so like in January. More as like a trial to see if it's something that would work next school year. So we completed like a couple of the units in IEW and the first unit of Beowulf grammar. And so now that we've completed those, I felt like we were at good stopping points. And so we have stopped those curriculums and we're holding those for next year. So with that, I kind of needed to fill like our language arts gap. So we've been doing a lot of units. Actually, a lot of unit studies is what we've been doing, which I love unit studies. So I'm not complaining about that. And my kids are really enjoying them. I feel like we're in like such a good just routine and flow with school that it's made it super easy. So we have just completed, actually like 2 days ago, this unit from Moving Beyond the Page, The Family Under the Bridge. This one, I got both my daughters a copy of the book because there's no audio. Sometimes I just let them listen aloud, but this unit specifically, they both read aloud. So they had their own copies. It took us 3 weeks, I think, to get through it. The book's not super big. My girls rate this book a 4 out of 5, which speaks a lot. They're pretty critiquish. I don't know the word. I feel like I'm not saying this right. Anyways, with reading books, and they really enjoyed this book. I will say that there was some struggles with reading because of how this book is written. It's an older book. I think we figured it out. It's like 65 years old, which isn't super old, but it is old. And it's based in Paris. And just so some of the terms and verbiage, like they were having a hard time with, I was even having a hard time with. So in the first like chapter or two, I'm like, we're gonna have to stop so much because of the different wording and stuff. This isn't going to be enjoyable, but they pushed past it and they actually picked up some of the words and now use them, which is super fun. The story's a really heartwarming, good story. It's based around Christmas time, like that's where the setting is in the story, and so this would be a great pick around the holiday season. As far as this unit study, so if you're not familiar with Moving Beyond the Page, I've done a couple videos on them, but this is a language arts curriculum. So it guides you through like reading the book. So it'll say, okay, read this chapter. It has discussion questions and answers, which we always do just verbally. The girls read aloud and then I ask them the discussion questions and then I have the answers. So it makes my life so much easier. But then this one specifically was super focused on punctuation. So every lesson there's activities on different punctuation things. Reference this book as well to go along. So we picked it up a little bit, but to be honest, because we were still doing Beowulf grammar, we just didn't need to get that super in depth. If there was like one activity on like colons and semicolons, and I asked my kids, do you know how to use these? And they're like, not really. So that was one we chose to do. But like we didn't do every punctuation activity because I didn't feel like we needed to. So we did skip through a lot of the activities. What I'll be doing is I'll be doing a full unit review on this in the coming weeks. So I'll go more in depth. I'll show you guys the activities. So, and I'll be doing that with a lot of stuff I'm showing today. So don't forget, if you're not, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out when that comes out. Now to pair up with that, because Moving Beyond the Page normally has like a language arts unit that matches with a science or social studies, that unit, The Family Under the Bridge, matched up with social studies and economic cycles. So this, we actually have one more lesson left, which is our end of unit project. I cannot tell you guys enough how much I loved this unit. It is one of the best homeschool units from any company that I've ever done. And that says a lot. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But the information that's in there and the paths it could lead you on, and just the discussions and the thoughts that it provokes with finances, with economics, which I think is such a valuable skill. I love this unit. So on that same note, I will be doing a full review on this and my recommendations for maybe how to enhance it a little bit. This does say for ages 7 to 9. I think, you know, it could go more in depth, but I think it doesn't because of that age range. But I'll share my thoughts in that video. So this is an amazing unit. You don't need to do these two units together. Yes, they kind of go off of each other, but this can be done as a standalone unit. You do read this book, If You Made a Million. It's cute, all right. I mean, I could take or leave the book. You only use it in like 1 or 2 of the 7 lessons. So anyways, I'll be doing a full review, but yeah, we have one more lesson, which is our end of unit project, and then we'll be done with this. We have also started using word roots. This is kind of adding in some spelling and vocabulary, kind of replacing like the writing and grammar that we're not doing. So we're on like lesson 4 of this now. Really like it. This is something that we will be doing in our upcoming school year as well, and I'll be sure to share more on word roots. We started another new unit study. This is from The Good and the Beautiful. It's their maturation unit. I have obviously 2 daughters, and we've obviously had, especially with my oldest daughter, we've had discussions, and they know most things that I think is appropriate at their different age levels. But my middle daughter did start asking some questions, and I don't think she had as in-depth of a conversation as my oldest daughter had on certain topics. So I was like, you know what? It's about time we get some real reinforcements in, because, you know, I'm using my words and my experience. Maybe there's a better way to bring up some of these topics. So when The Good and the Beautiful was having their sale, I was like, let's just try it, because there's not many units like this out there. And what's funny is I think Gather Round just released theirs, but they released it in different levels. So there's like a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. I think I would need the level 2 or 3 with where my kids are at, like where I think they're at. And so I may end up getting those eventually, but this was a good start. So anyway, so we're about 4 or 5 lessons in. We do it super quick. I read the lesson to them. I keep it really short and sweet. Yes, there's giggles from them, and as much as I can see that they're cringing inside through some of these conversations, I am a huge believer that these conversations need to happen with children, because of, unfortunately, the world we live in. And it's better to hear it from you than one of their friends, or whatever the case may be. We'll be done with this in a couple weeks. And then what I plan on doing is I plan on getting the Gather Round ones, and then I'll do kind of a compare and contrast, as well as one of my favorite unit study companies, Barefoot Within the Trees, is making one similar. And so I'll be comparing all of them and letting you guys know all of that. If you have a daughter, because I'm using resources more for girls at this point because we're not there with my son, there's an American Girl book. I think it's called like My Body. I'll pop a picture of it up here. I did read that book first with my middle daughter when she first asked the questions, but that one just is really more about them and their body changes, and it's very light. And so I will link that. I'll pop it up here. It wasn't my favorite book because I feel like it did highlight a lot of self-conscious type issues that she doesn't have. So I feel like, yes, it's important to talk about those things, but I felt like it dwelled a little bit on like being conscious about your body, and I'm like, but she's not. But so I felt like continuing to like have those things like almost made her like aware of things to be unconfident about. So I did end up skipping a lot of those pages on those types of things because she's not dealing with that stuff yet. But other than that, I think it's a good intro beginner book before you dive into a full-blown course like The Good and the Beautiful one. So I will share that link and keep you guys updated on that. I think we are going to start this unit next. This is Who Was Helen Keller by Moving Beyond the Page. You read the Who Was Helen Keller books with that, and so I got a copy for both my daughters, so they'll be reading this and completing this unit, and then I will again be sharing an update. I don't know what like the language arts part of this is too much focused on, like how the other one I was saying was like on punctuation. I don't know what this one is specifically, but I'll be sure to do an update. So we have these books. I added on a couple other ones. This is Tales of History, a puppy for Helen Keller. So this is on the plan. This should only take about 3 weeks. So we'll definitely get done with this by the end of the year. Then like I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite unit study companies, Barefoot Within the Trees, just released their Echo Mountain study. And so it is based off of this book. And Jenny, the creator, is like, it's a really good spring unit. And so I was like, oh, we can squeeze it in. So I think as we're finishing up Helen Keller and the maturation unit, we're going to start this. I'm hoping we can finish it by the end of the school year. With this one too, I got both my daughters copies of the books. They may audio listen to this though, but it's like right up our alley. Like it has like things about like natural remedies and herbs. And then she recommends this game, the Wildcraft Herbal Adventure game, which I'm really excited about. I've been eyeballing this a long time. You like go through the game, but then like things happen and you have to figure out like what herbs and like natural remedies can resolve like if you get, stung by something or you hurt yourself. So I'm really excited for this and this unit. And reading this book too. It sounds like a fun book. It's the time frames, the setting is right after the Great Depression. So there's some information about the Great Depression in there as well. So I think that will be a really fun unit, and that would really, I think, be the end of our school year. So I've kind of shared like all of the resources and stuff that we've finished that we're planning on using. Now, like just general updates. We have like 6 weeks left of school, guys. Like it's getting crazy, and we have to finish school because my kids are going to summer camp. So my kids go to summer camp. It's a day camp. It's not like they're going to stay away camp, but it's 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, all day long. And so we have to be done with school before then. So they're going for 4 weeks, but actually it's over like a 5-week span because they're taking 1 week off in between that time. So they're gonna go for 2 weeks, take a week off, and then go for 2 more weeks. So altogether, that's like a huge span of time to where I just want to be like cut, finished, done. And then we'll have 2 official more weeks off, and then we get back into our another school year. So it seems crazy to me. So I want to finish everything up. We are, like I said, dwindling down our core curriculums. I think the things we're finishing next week as far as like core stuff is handwriting. Both my daughters will be wrapping up handwriting. My middle daughter, she's just like a monster with math. Like she's just finishing it so fast. She's already started Saxon 3 because she finished her 2nd grade math so early in the year. So I'm actually stopping her so she doesn't get too much into it before next year. So she'll be doing some supplemental things for math until then. My oldest daughter's on track to finish her Saxon math like right that last week of school. So that's exciting. I feel like that's really the only thing that they like really is handwriting and math is like that has to get finished just to complete those, curriculums. We have a family trip coming up the first week of May. So that will be fun. We're just going to California. We're going to rent a beach house with some family. We're going to go to Legoland, have a beach day. So just a quick, like an extended weekend type trip, but it will be really nice to do that. So we're all looking forward to that. And then I have a work trip coming up in June. So that always throws things off when I'm out of the home for a week. But I'm excited. I get to travel to a state I've never been to again, so that's fun. So just a lot of vacation travel plans on the mind, you know, just the logistics of all of that. My son also will be going to camp. This is his first year going to camp, so I'm a little nervous. I don't know why. I think it's because he's my youngest. I'm like, you're gonna go to camp all day? And he's like, yes, mom. And I'm like, ah. Even though, you know, he was a little hesitant at first, he's like, well, how long would I be there? And so, you know, just seeing how that will go. But I'm excited. That will just be a weird, you know, adjustment, because it's almost, you know, think of like a public school. You have to get up at the same time every day, pack lunches, they're gone all day long, and then you have to pick them up at a certain time. You know, that's not our style. So it does add a level of pressure, and, you know, packing lunches, it seems so easy and like a simple thing, but it's not, especially 5 days a week, packing 3 kids' lunches, trying to be as healthy as possible. And it's not just like a lunch, like they need snacks. It is extremely hot where we live. Like it gets up to 115. So the amount of water and like rehydration drinks, and they need sunscreen, and they need hats. And so really preparing for all of that, you know, is just an adjustment. We do it every year, but you know, I have to remember it every year. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I think we had such an amazing school year that I'm actually not like wanting it to end. Like we're just in such a good flow. So you know, in last year, I feel like we weren't in a really great flow. So it's like we wanted a break. We need a break. This year, it's like, yes, I'm excited for the break just to kind of, you know, refresh and recharge. But it's just been so awesome that I'm like, huh, we don't really need a break, but we have lots of fun things planned. I know the kids are going to enjoy the break and, you know, getting out of the, you know, normal routine every day. That, my friends, is my April update. I hope you guys are all starting to get some warm spring weather and looking forward to your summer plans. If you have any questions, comments, as always, leave those down below. Thanks so much, guys, for all your support on my channel. Have a wonderful day, and we'll chat soon. Bye.